Hey guys, how you doing? Tonight I'm gonna do I'm gonna try to go through this rather quickly because we have a lot to cover. I'm gonna give you 30 greaser movies slash TV shows that everybody needs to see. Now, I'm sure this is not a complete list. There may be something that I'm missing, but these are shows or movies that I have personally seen. I'm gonna give them in order by earliest of year to the later of years. Okay, so I'm gonna try to go real quick and give a brief description about everything. The Wild One, 1953, Marlon Brando. Everybody knows The Wild One. The Wild One was based on the Hollister incident in Hollister, California of 1947, which I've covered in a previous video, The Origins of the Greasers. Go check that out. Rebel Without a Cause, 1955, James Dean. Everybody knows this movie as well. James Dean was excellent in this movie, really covered the rebels, the greasers of Los Angeles in the 1950s. I also have some cool backstory information that I'm going to save for another video, so be looking for that. All right, Blackboard Jungle, 1955. Another great movie about inner city gangs. I believe New York. I could be wrong, but I believe it's New York. About inner city gangs in high school and just the craziness that they produced in that era. Good movie. All right, Motorcycle Gang, 1957. All about leather, motorcycles, and craziness. So if you guys like motorcycles, you like hoodlums, you like greaser movies, you need to check out Motorcycle Gang. Hot Rod Gang, 1958. Hot Rod Gang was another cool movie about hot rods, fast cars, fast girls, and Gene Vincent. If any of you guys know who that is, if you don't, you should know. Gene Vincent made a cameo in that and did a lot of singing in it. So go check that one out. West Side Story, 1961. Everybody knows West Side Story. I went and saw the play. Good play, decent movie, not too bad. I liked it. It was okay. Not my favorite, but another classic. Go check that out. The Young Savages, 1961. About inner city gangs, Irish greaser gangs, or at least white. I believe they were white, but they seem to be Irish, probably Irish. I didn't see really a lot. There were Italians in there, but the main focus was on, the white Irish greaser gangs versus the Puerto Rican greaser gangs. Check that movie out, Young Savages. A lot of fun. American Graffiti, 1973. Anybody who has not seen American Graffiti needs to see it. About early 60s, 1962, in Modesto, California. You guys want to know what it was like in California to be a greaser in the early 60s and what the whole hot rod car culture was like? You need to see that movie. Okay, The Lords of Flatbush. Interesting movie. 1974. Gave birth to two major careers. First off, being Henry Winkler. If you don't know who Henry Winkler is, he was Fonzie on Happy Days. The Lords of Flatbush gave him a career in that direction. Also, Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, and Rambo. The Rocky character very much comes from the character Sylvester Stallone played in The Lords of Flatbush. Go see that movie. Happy Days, 1974 TV show. If you guys don't know about Happy Days, I can't help you at this point. Happy Days was one of the most popular shows about the 1950s. The earlier seasons were probably the best to watch. The later ones, when he went to the the baby powder blue jeans with it kind of had the flair to them, and Chachi came along. Don't worry about that. Not so accurate to the era. Okay, Grease, 1978. Again, if you guys don't know Grease, you should know it. John Travolta, Jeff Conaway, and just to give you a little something on this, I could not stand Sandy. Fucking hated her. I love Cha-Cha. That's my girl right there. Give me Cha-Cha over Sandy any fucking day. Cha-Cha's reality. Fucking hot. Rest in peace, Annette Charles. Okay. Let's see, where are we? Buddy Holly Story, 1978. Gary fucking Busey. The fucking nut. Everybody loves Gary Busey. He was great in that movie playing Buddy Holly. If you guys haven't seen that movie, go fucking see it because the madman told you to. All right. Let's see. More American Graffiti, 1979, starts in 1964, right? A couple of years after the first movie of American Graffiti of 1962. Go see More American Graffiti, also known as American Graffiti 2. Check that shit out. Great fucking movie. Okay? Great movie. The original cast was in it, except for Richard Dreyfuss. He was not in More American Graffiti. They had another guy play his character, but it shows the progression on how it went from the early 1960s into the mid 60s into the 70s. You guys are gonna want to see that. A lot of good race scenes in that too. Love it. Let's see. The Wanderers, 1979. Great movie, classic. Again, The Wanderers. The Wanderers was based on real gangs of New York in the late 50s and early 60s. If you guys haven't seen that, you need to go see it. Great fucking movie. Let's see. Where are we? The Loveless. Oh my God, The Loveless. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I have not seen the full movie in its entirety. It seems to be more of a parody kind of a movie on greasers and tearing up a town. Willem Dafoe. That's all I gotta say. Willem fucking Dafoe, The Loveless. Check that shit out. You guys will like some of the clips. They're kind of cool. The Outsiders, 1983. Who has not seen The Outsiders? Any greaser, actually, not just any greaser, but just about everybody. It's like required reading and watching the movie in high school. The Outsiders. Okay, quick little information on The Outsiders. The Outsiders takes place in The Outsiders takes place in Oklahoma. One of my teachers, my English teacher, Mr. Boyle, he grew up in the 50s into the early 60s in Oklahoma. And he can attest that The Outsiders is very real. That's exactly how it really was. It was very realistic. So you guys need to check that out. Okay, Eddie and the Cruisers, 1983. Great fucking greaser movie about music and rock and roll. Michael Pare, check it out. Good movie. Okay, Rumblefish, 1983. Okay, Matt Dillon was the star of Rumblefish. Great book, great movie. Check that shit out. Streets of Fire, 1984. Willem Dafoe and Michael Pare again. I always felt that Streets of Fire, it had a very 80s feel to it because it was in the 80s, but it also had a lot of the 1950s style. You know, they had the gangs and the motorcycles and the cars, and the police had the old uniforms with the belt across and the old hats and stuff. I always felt that Streets of Fire, it kind of reminded me of it maybe took place in the 1980s, but it was like in a different dimension. Like it was in an alternative dimension. It's cool. It's full of action, full of good rock and roll and stuff. Go check it out. You'll see what I'm saying. It seems like it's 80s, but it's 50s at the same time. It's like it's almost in an alternate dimension. Like a dimension that's behind the times that's actually in current times. Check it out. Okay, let's see. The Heavenly Kid. The Heavenly Kid, 1985. I really liked The Heavenly Kid. That was a really cool movie. It was not completely about greasers, but the main character in the movie is about a greaser that comes back after dying in a chickie run that's very, very familiar to Rebel Without a Cause. He ends up dying. He comes back and he needs to save and help this nerdy kid in the 1980s and teach him how to be cool. I'm not going to tell you all of what goes on in the movie, but you're going to have to see for yourself. Awesome fucking movie. Okay, Stand By Me, 1986. Great movie. Classic. Everybody in high school probably should have seen this by now. Stand By Me takes place in the 1950s into the 1960s. Great fucking movie. Coming of age story. And there are greasers in it. And it is a lot of fun. Okay. La Bamba, 1987. The Richie Valens story. Anybody knows who Richie Valens is? La Bamba. Great fucking movie. Very realistic to the era, the time, and the story of Richie Valens. Go check that out. Eddie and the Cruisers 2. Eddie Lives, 1989. Not so much about the 1950s or the greaser era. It takes place in the 80s, and Eddie goes into hiding, and he comes back and makes a big, reappearance. It's a really cool movie. I really personally I like Eddie and the Cruisers 2 more than I like the original. You need to see that one. It's good. It's a lot of cool stuff in it. A lot of good lessons. Okay, Great Balls of Fire, 1989. Jerry fucking Lee Lewis, man. And Winona Ryder. Oh, shit. You need to see that movie. Great fucking movie. Go check that shit out. Okay, Crybaby, 1990. Crybaby was interesting movie. It was more of a parody of the 1950s more than an actual serious movie. A lot of fun in that, a lot of good rock and roll, and of course, I mean, Johnny Depp is a greaser and on a motorcycle and fighting fucking squares. Fuck yeah. Okay, let's see. Where are we at? The Outsiders TV show, 1990. They actually had a TV show. It only went on for, I think, one season. It didn't really last too long. David Arquette, I remember, was in it. I don't remember who the rest were. Go check that movie out. Great, not movie, that TV show. Go check that shit out. It basically takes place after the Outsiders, after Dally is killed, and it carries on afterwards. And the main Hood character becomes what's his name? Tim Shepard. He becomes the new Dally character. Kind of cool. It's on YouTube. Check that shit out. It's good times. Okay, Sometimes They Come Back, 1991, Stephen King movie about a bunch of greasers who ended up dying, and they come back and haunt the main character. Cool movie. Check that shit out. Very greasy, very hot rodish, very old school fucking hoodlums. You'll like it. I definitely liked it. Deuces Wild, 2002, the gold standard of greaser movies. I grew up with this. It's one of the very first that I actually saw. You had Stephen Dorff, Brad Renfro, Fairuza Balk. Takes place in Brooklyn in 1958, about the greaser gangs in Brooklyn in those days. And oh, of course, Matt Dillon, he plays the mob boss, Fritzy. You're going to really want to see this movie. Very, very, very good greaser movie. Check this shit out. Don't forget it. Deuces Wild. Okay, Secondhand Lions, 2003. Michael Caine and Robert Duvall. And then the kid, I don't remember what his name is. Haley Joe Osment, that's it. It's not really a greaser movie. It's more of action adventure, but the main plot takes place in the mid-50s. And there are greasers, and I'm not going to say too much about it, but Robert Duvall kicks some serious ass and then fucking teaches them a thing or two. You'll like it. There's a cool greaser scene in it. Okay. Walk the Line, 2005. Johnny fucking Cash, man. Joaquin Phoenix plays Johnny Cash. Very much about the 50s into the 60s and stuff. And you guys need to see that movie too. Great movie. So that's 30 movies and TV shows. There's very few TV shows, mainly movies, that you greasers are going to want to watch, or anybody that's looking to be a greaser might want to get into. So those are my recommendations. It's a pretty complete list. I know there's some things. I just actually thought of a few things that I'm not going to mention right now, but there's a few things out there, as well as along as TV shows and movies that have greasers in them and kind of depict the style. But I might go over those later. But this is a good start. At least 30. I mean, come on, guys. What the fuck do you want from me? This is all stuff I've personally seen and watched over the years, and I've been doing this quite a long time. So, as always, guys, hang loose, be safe. Madman is out. Go watch that fucking shit.